Hi. Welcome to Tuesday Evening Live, here to support our Thrive as we venture into the great mystery of life and the wild unknown. So, very warm welcome to everyone this evening and whenever you're catching this video. My name's lisalyle. This is my channel here on YouTube. Very warm welcome to those of you who are new, and of course, a warm welcome back to those who have been hanging out for a while. We're going to get right into it because there's lots of energy about. So I'd like to just ask at this time that I'm a clear and pure channel to bring through messages from Source Divine, loving and kind. Yes. Oh, a woman who cuts her hair is a woman who's ready to make some big changes in her life. And 'tis the season. Yeah. So, welcome, Dawn. Welcome. Yeah. And, speaking of changes, so it is the 11th of March, and we are 3 days away from our full moon, total lunar eclipse that is going to be visible in the Americas. It is also a blood moon, and it is in the sign of Virgo on the moon's south node. So we are all feeling it. There's lots going on, and I felt I was out and about today. I went early to get my hair cut. And then went to visit my dear old friend who is so good for my soul. He is he's in his 80s, and I just love spending time for him. He is so good for me, so good for my soul. And our connection's a really special one. So did that, and then came home and took the big dog over to the park. Came home, cleaned him up from all the mud, because it is definitely spring. Oh, and that is something. I saw a red-winged blackbird today. So red-winged blackbirds are my first sign of spring. So it is official, folks. Spring is, I wouldn't say it's sprung, but it's certainly springing. It's on its way. So, okay, what else is going on? We have Venus retrograde. We have Mars stationed direct, moving back towards the degree that it went retrograde at back in December 6th, when we were in Sagittarius season. Yeah, what else? Well, what else is, today I was thinking about these two decks that I have that I don't often use, and it feels like at this time it's really being open to incorporating some new into our experience, and being open to receiving in new ways. I will say, so my son is out of town for a few days working, so mom's home alone with the animals. And yesterday the energy was sort of heavy. Cool. That's so cool. Yeah, I've been having a lot of flybys by hawks and crows recently. So anyways, the energy yesterday felt rather heavy or slow to get moving. And then I did get moving, and then was inspired. Oops, excuse me. Where did it go? And then was inspired to clean up this space in the apartment, this one spot, because I kept getting the guidance to roll out my yoga mat. And for those who don't know, I used to teach yoga. I began practicing yoga many years ago in my early mid-20s. And recently, pretty well since the time that Frank died, 6 years, I've really resisted yoga, uh, a lot of things, just, I guess, being in survival mode and all of that. So, anyways, I rolled out the yoga mat last night. I cleaned up the whole area, washed the floor, set it up, rolled my mat out, and started just to do some things. I thought, oh, I'll try tree pose. And I was shocked to realize, like, balance completely off, completely off. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist uh, by nature. And, I really hold myself back in a lot of ways because oftentimes things aren't perfect. And so, I felt myself starting to get a little frustrated at myself, and I couldn't believe, like, what, you can't do tree pose? And so it was like, start off with Tadasana, mountain pose. It's just literally standing there. Anyways, long story short, I then went down, did some cat cow, and then did some chest openers. And when I did the chest opener, all of a sudden there was this release of emotion that I could not um I couldn't stop it. And the dogs were oblivious. They were on the couch. All I could see is Rex's paws. And I went down and back up into Cobra a few times. And then I just had to let the release happen. And, I'm really excited to get back onto the mat tonight after this live to see what comes up, because it feels like we are at this, it's almost like we're at the cliff's edge and we're being guided to go, and to know that we are going to be supported in the direction that we go, where our heart is leading. Excuse me. So, with that being said, today I kept getting this guidance to work with these two decks and for them to be a familiar of ours for Tuesday's offerings. And so here are the two decks by the same creator, and they're very, they're gorgeous. They come in these gift boxes, and then inside the archetypes is there's another round box in there, and then the other one has a beautiful box as well. So we're going to pull a few cards from these decks tonight and see what comes out for us. And I did bring the guidebooks here, so we'll look at the guidebook in particular for this deck. I've worked more with the spirit animal one, not much at all with the archetype one, and I feel it's important. And I did pull a card for myself before the start of here, and it was one of the initiation cards. And it was basically, about time and divine timing and, mythic time, as opposed to chronological and linear time. So there's something to be said. It feels like we're in this holding stage or phase. I heard holding tank, but that sounds like a fish or something. Oh, maybe it is, sounds like a fish or something. We're in Pisces season. So perhaps Pisces season is the holding tank. And then we're going to make our break free, our breakthrough into Aries season, particularly around the time of the partial solar eclipse, which is on March the 29th. The day before my father's birthday. And right as we're beginning the new season and what is truly the new year. So it feels very auspicious and feels very, and in this holding tank, in this waiting period, we are being offered all the love and support and guidance we could ever need. It's up to us to be the open and receptive channel that is able to receive. And this is like a gift from spirit, a gift from God coming in for us. And we have the moon up there. And we do, like I said, on the 14th. So the moon will come up on the 13th, Thursday, and around 7:30 p.m. it rises. And then at 2:55 a.m. on the 14th, we will have our total lunar eclipse, blood moon. So be open. And it really feels like it's also about what we are here to offer. And it feels like this gift coming in, this offering from spirit, is an offering of love and support and encouragement. And an absolute certainty comes with it that you will succeed. You will achieve that which you have come to achieve. There was 6 ones across the board there, 4 on the clock and 1 live viewer and 1 thumbs up. Ah, agape. And this is like God's love. I'm really interested in reading this card because I've heard like an agape kind of love, soul love, God's love. This is the offer. And this in turn is what we offer through our acts of service, beginning with self-care. So yesterday I cleaned up the yoga space, and tonight this evening before the live, I cleaned the bathroom, scrubbed the tub and all that, and had a nice bath with some magnesium flakes and sandalwood essential oil. And yeah, it's just showing up for ourselves and being the balance, aligning, like lighting up through our chakras. What I'm feeling is like anchoring the soul star into the earth star chakra. And from there, all of the other chakras light up. And it's this beautiful, flow of harmonized energy. Because we are the healers here to balance the Trinity. It's weird. I'm interested to see what this says about the 3-headed snake. But it's a 25, so that comes to 7. So the physical body aligning. And it feels like waking up. And snakes are a symbol of transformation, shedding skin, what no longer is working for us. I'm feeling Archangel Michael's presence heavy as I connect with the imagery on this card. And it feels like being very grounded into the earth star chakra, coming, bringing the energy and vitality into the experience of the solar plexus chakra activation. No more hesitation is what I heard. And we're in this window. Remember, it's all divine timing. So what feels like, a tremendous amount of time for us is like the blink of an eye in spiritual terms. And also, some of you may be experiencing like it's almost like a time warp, except it's not a warp. It's almost like the speeding up of time, like jumping. Perhaps it's the jumping of timelines. And this is the cliff that we're at. We're being asked to let go and to lean into it. Remember, we were asked during eclipse season to lean into the non-linear aspect of our experience. Let me just check that, because I believe that is what was said. Lean into the non-Pisces season. Lean into the non-linear. learning to be receptive, deeply active presence, and deep empowerment comes at this time. And, it's funny, we're talking about perfectionism earlier. And one of the points of this Virgo total blood moon, one of the points I wrote down, Virgo points us to what is not working, what is imperfect. And perhaps this is a challenge for a Virgo, right? It's not perfect. So I'm not going to show anyone, I'm not going to do it because it's like not perfect. And perhaps there's a book I inherited from my uncle after he passed, and it was called the perfection, uh, the imperfection of spirituality, or the perfection of imperfection, something along those lines. And, like perhaps that's one of the lessons for us at this time, is to finally really show up for ourselves in a way that says, you know what? It's not perfect to your mind, and yet it is a beautiful offering from the heart that beats inside, and to get out of our mind and stop judging ourselves and being so critical, because that is basically holding us hostage to the physical, right? When in essence we're spiritual in nature, so we are the marriage of spirit and matter. Does that make sense? So let's see what some animal guides, and then we'll have a look at what the guidebook. I'm going to look at agape first. I feel like that's God's love, and that's the offering to us at this time, as we continue to heal ourselves. Because as healers in the world, we don't heal anyone per se. We heal ourselves, and then we support others to do the same through sharing, through our ability to be a conduit of unconditional love and God's light. Yet ultimately, the work of the healer is to heal thyself. Healer, heal thyself. We heal ourselves first. And then if we're lucky, we share that. We get to share that. And if we're lucky, there's people that benefit, and awaken and open and heal and are inspired by what we share. That's the whole point of it. This is about our past. What's back there. And this is about the dark and perhaps the things that we're afraid of. And yet look at this bat's wings. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it's all the colors of, with the exception of yellow, although we have, you can see yellow in with the orange there. This is about being grounded and being honed in and focused on our heart's desire, honed in and focused on the self-care component of our journey. And bats, they don't see, right? They get around all by sound. And so it's like becoming very familiar. And that was what, I was shocked at the overwhelm I felt being back on the yoga mat last night. And, there was a number of observations I made about myself and my physical vessel since the last time I connected to my yoga mat in any real way. And, the message that kept coming through is to be gentle. What I did recognize, though, and this you may be able to relate, and you may feel it in your own experience, particularly if you give yourself space to breathe and tune in. What I did feel is a lot of tension and discomfort in my body, and in particular through the front of the body, which in turn creates, an opposing tension in the back of the body. And I haven't quite, deciphered it all and, worked through it all. What was coming to mind though is, we become so comfortable with discomfort that it's just like a way of being, right? It's just how we move through life. And yet when we and in a way that really closes us down, because a lot of the physical discomfort we feel are coping mechanisms to a traumatic experience. And I truly feel within my body that there is probably a frozen energetic that date goes right back to the day that Frank passed away. No doubt. And then it's just been operating in autopilot or co-pilot through the remainder of the time, which gets us to here. And so now it's about opening up and getting clear and accepting the offering of God's help, Spirit's help for us now, while we experience this agape kind of love, soul love, unconditional love. Unconditional, that's beautiful. No conditions. There's nothing we need to do to earn this love. It just is ours by birthright. It is who we are. It's who we are. So the next animal that came out was the wolf. And wolf mirrored is flow. And remember, those of you who have been here for a while will remember we came into this year of 2025 with the wolf as our guide. Wolf appeared back at the end of Scorpio season, right? The lone wolf. And the lone wolf was putting the call out to find the soul tribe, the pack this year, to be one within the pack. It's great to have the resources and the ability and the inner resources and strength and fortitude to enjoy our own company and to be a lone wolf. And many of us have worn that that distinction with a badge, as a badge of honor, right? Yes, I'm a lone wolf, I get the job done. And yet the reality is wolves are pack animals, right? And they have fun within the pack, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we're finding. And this guy feels like the leader of the pack, and look at him, all powerful. It's almost like the healer walking out of the fire, which is like the healer as the phoenix who's rising and going forward. It's like a call and answer. I'm hearing like this call and answer energy, putting the call out, the answer comes. The call goes out, the answer comes. And we follow that rhythm, and trust and have faith that we are the ones here that are, leading the charge, if you will, leading the change. And again, that doesn't make us, you know, um, better than the other. We are all equally valuable uh, in God's eye, or yeah, if we want to call it God's eye. And then the final animal card that comes out is this mystical being. Someone told me I was delusional once, and I almost fell off my unicorn. That was a meme someone had sent me many, many years ago. Because I kind of, unicorns, I was like, oh, unicorns. Yet what this is really speaking about is speaking about being highly intuitive. This is speaking to me in this moment about telepathic communication via the channel of the agape love, God's love, co-creating, moving and flowing together co-creatively, not seeing our way through, feeling and hearing our way through. And what are we feeling? And what are we hearing and feeling when we connect with our vessel that perhaps we've been holding tight? Perhaps we've been tense without even realizing it. I don't think I've ever had an experience on my yoga mat like I had last night. And it makes sense. It's usually the hips that support the big release. It was the chest, and it was this little tiny, pathetic cobra because I'm so tense and tight. And it was just this enormous wave that I couldn't stop. I was like, what in the heck is going on here? So let's see where agape is here. And let's see what it says about agape. So it's one of the initiations as well. So it's way back here. So it says for this card, the message is, and these are messages that are intended to support us in stepping out of this energetic of the lone wolf, stepping out there. It's like the fool's journey, stepping into this new beginning, leaning into the non-linear, the divine timing of it all, and trusting along the way, showing up for ourselves in a way that shows we value and trust ourselves. Because first and foremost, that's the most important ingredient to anything we do out there in the world, any of the relationships we would like to draw into our experience. Because remember, like, things magnetize to things of a same frequency and vibration, and beings we do as well. So this is devotion and unconditional love. And so this is about strengthening the offer at this time as we approach the Virgo full moon and as we move through this holding tank season of Pisces towards Aries season, where we're going to break through, we're going to break free. At this time, the offering is unconditional love. And it comes to us through our daily devotion, our spiritual practice, the getting on the yoga mat and being willing to show up. And I wanted, when I couldn't do tree pose, and then I tried on the other side and I couldn't do it, I was falling. I almost wanted to cry then, just because I couldn't. I'm like, oh, and then it was like, and I wanted to walk away and give up. Because that was a humbling experience. And yet, almost immediately, this message came in of gentleness and being gentle. And the fact that you rolled the mat out and got on the mat is a big accomplishment. It's a breakthrough. And to keep showing up in that way. Because I don't feel like we don't acknowledge enough how much we've been through individually and collectively, like as, a society, as North Americans, as world citizens. We've all been through a lot personally, and we've all been through a lot collectively. And it's really, we're in this time where it's about truly remembering who we are and coming back to the heart so we can get ourselves out of this. Right now, those of you watching this, we're in a holding tank. Pisces season is our holding tank. There's others out there that are imprisoned in their mind. And as a result, their heart is closed off. At least we're here willing to trust our heart, willing to go into our heart, willing to get out of our minds. Perhaps we've had to lose our mind in order to come home to our senses, our feelings. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, goddess, or nature at the center? How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and asks us for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form, and like a healing balm to the modern soul, its effects last a lifetime. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously or unconsciously. What are you elevating? Where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead to? That's really beautiful. That's really beautiful, because that is, you know, putting our faith in God. God, a power greater than ourselves, the creator of it all. And I'm a firm, I understand that God is a consciousness, and it's what all religion talks about. They're all talking about the same essence of God, which is unconditional love. And as a parent, as a dog parent, as a human parent, as a child, we feel love. And yet oftentimes in human form, I mean, we can learn a lot from our dogs, because they truly are unconditionally loving creatures, and our cats and stuff like that, although cats are a little more hit or miss. But like, this is about having faith that God, a loving creator, our loving father, our loving mother, wants the absolute best for us. And it's time that we had faith in that too, and showed up for ourselves in the best way, so that we can get the best out of life, what we're here for. I think we've got 2 initiation cards here. Let me just see if the offering is also an initiation. No. So the offering is from there it is. So let's just see what aspect of the deck this is from. So that's, the first card was direct, or the first card, the offering, comes from oh my goodness, from the tools. So the tools is the hand of God offering us this agape love, this unconditional love. We are working in direct contact with spirit of the Most High, of the Most Light. And it's almost like, the message is like, we're missionaries. This is about soul love. This is about us connecting with the essence that resides at the core of the human, which is our eternal soul. Here in the chronos, the chronological timeline of things, the linear, and we're being asked to lean into the non-linear, the spiritual, the magical, the mystical, the mysticism of it all, the unexplainable, the great unknown, the great mystery, the void. So it says here for the offering, unlike many of the other cards in the deck, the offering carries a clear as day message and a call to action. As you may have guessed, it's time for something to be given and given up, for the sake of the bigger picture. If nothing comes to mind immediately, though it's likely it will, take time in meditation to consider what must be offered and who it is to receive it. It's likely you'll feel attachment and hesitancy. You'll make excuses, but recognize the link between the word sacrifice and the word sacred. And so it feels like this is really saying, we're not here to sacrifice who we are. We are not here to lash ourselves. We're not here to give up on ourselves when we can't do tree pose on the yoga mat. And we used to be a tree expert. We're not here to give up on ourselves. We're here to keep coming back to what is sacred, which is our practice, which is our willingness to continue to show up to practice, to spend time devoting daily time to devotional practices, prayer, meditation, yoga, exercise. It's about caring for the physical vessel, because within the physical vessel, the soul resides, the spirit resides. One leads to the other. When we offer up something to the greater good, we lighten our load and become more able to serve. Imagine for a moment if you were to offer your whole self unconditionally to the world. For now, start small. And that's what we're here to do. Offer our whole self, share ourselves, because this is how we heal. And this is how we come back together as humans, as human siblings, HUE, siblings around the world. We come back together by devoting ourselves to our personal healing journey, to the inner work. It's valuable work. Valuable, valuable work. So let's see the healer. I did pass that earlier. Oh, there it is. The healer. And the healer is from, I think it's the archetypes component of the deck. The selves. Okay, the selves. So this is speaking of us being healers, right? Healer, heal thyself. Healer, show up for yourself. Because if you don't, who will? The light worker, the gifted, the old soul. It's an honor to connect with all of you, because that's so beautiful. And it was 3644 there. Wisdom, it keeps coming through. Wisdom isn't about knowledge and information in books. Wisdom is about the deeper journey home to the self, going into the experience of self, and then hopefully overcoming the self and actualizing the self as the one here fulfilling their path of service for the greatest and highest good of the collective, of humanity. So it says, though some claim the work of the healer as their gift and name it as their dharma, the force of this archetype is within everyone. It is our natural inclination. Yes, yes, yes. It is our natural inclination to remember, to return to, and to reclaim that central and eternal life force from which we so easily drift away. In Sanskrit, the word avidya means forgetting, and it is said that this is the source of all suffering and dis-ease. The healer's mission then becomes to move through the comfort of forgetting, which is exactly what we were saying at the beginning, right? Moving through the discomfort to the remembering. Through the veils of ignorance and denial to reveal the radiance that already exists. The healer approaches this in multiple ways from multiple angles, knowing the cycle of healing is not linear. It is multi-layered and circuitous process, always leading back to its own origin, much like the Ouroboros. So let's see. The wounded healer is not someone who was wounded and is now healed. It is someone who continues to courageously break open the self and ego as a means of deep integration. So it's the brave of heart, the courageous who keep going, who keep showing up for the self in order to be of service to the greatest and highest good of the collective. I'll just give the key words for the animal cards, and then I think we'll call it a day so I can get to my mat. so I can get to my yoga mat early. Okay, so the bat, the keynotes of the bat are darkness, letting go, death leading to rebirth. So like that phoenix energy that we were talking about. When in balance, accepts, adopts, and adjusts. When out of balance, refuses to let go, reminisces to bring into balance, watch the sunrise. That's easy enough. Watch the sunrise. The wolf, loyalty, okay. It is a beautiful bat. The wolf, guardian of family and tribe, activism, and ritual. When in balance, reliable, democratic, and fearless. When out of balance, judgmental and disseminating. To bring into balance, practice letting go. So perhaps the big message, the big practice, the big, send off with the Virgo full moon is the letting go of everything that's held us back, right? Just enough with it. Break through, break free. We've got this. We're out of here. We're trusting our intuition. The purple and the green on this card. The white represents the purity of the heart of the child that resides within. And purple and green are the colors of the natural born healer. You, me, everyone who sees this. Oh, I think it's back here. Let's see. The unicorn. Okay, I'm going to read all of this for us, okay? Because this is important, because this is confirmation, and it's a beautiful way to end. And I thank my team who always shows up and then brings the confirmation and the clarity through for all of us. And I trust that you feel it too. Reconnecting to higher wisdom or divinity. The whole entire point of this journey is that very purpose. That purpose. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago, the mind answers, or maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. We think about a higher power and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches and reaches out of grasp reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for answers. The unicorn and the sixth chakra, which is the third eye. It's no surprise the subtle essence of the unicorn resides at the third eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called the Ajna chakra, or command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. Some say our two eyes see the past and present, while this third eye peers into the future. And so past, present, future all lives now as us. The beautiful unicorn coming back to life to live our very own delight. That's what we came for. So, with that being said, I think I'm going to go roll out my yoga mat, and I will be back here tomorrow. I'm feeling like I might do an evening one tomorrow, perhaps. We'll see. I'll be back tomorrow, either in the morning or in the evening, or maybe both. You just never know. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic night. I hope you spend some time, or fantastic night, day, afternoon, whenever you see this. Thank you so much for showing up. And I hope you spend some time showing some care and devotion to the sacredness that is your beautiful self. I see you. I feel you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.